Hello there again, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at convicted_cinephile. I thought I would quick do my complete Arrow video collection. It's not nearly as extensive as my Scream Factory one, so I thought I could knock it out quick. I've only known about Arrow for like 2 years, so my collection is pretty small. It's only like 25 or so movies, half of which are the limited edition versions and half of them are the standard versions, mostly of ones that used to have limited editions that were sold out by the time I discovered them. So without any further ado, let's get into them. All right, the very first Arrow video release I ever bought was actually this one here, so alphabetical order works in its advantage. American Werewolf in London. You can see the case with the book and the poster inside there. I usually don't take the J cards off of these unless they just fall off on their own. This is an amazing release. It's going to get a 4K release soon as well, which I would like to get, but I might not. Dario Argento's Bird with the crystal plumage. I haven't opened this one because I bought it just before I started making videos for this YouTube channel. Otherwise, I would have had an unboxing done of it. You could see the book and poster in the side there as well. But yeah, I love getting all these Argento films on here. If I could hold things the right direction, that would help. Maybe one of these days I'll just do a nice binge and watch this and the next one right after one another. The other Dario Argento one, I've done an unboxing on this on my channel, so if you'd like to see that, go ahead and check on back. I did this with another release, I want to say Legend as well. The Cat O' Nine Tails has the book and the standard 4K case. But yeah, maybe I'll do a double feature with those two and compare them finally. Onto this one, Donnie Darko. This one has been opened because they messed up with one of the discs on this one. I think it was the director's cut 4K disc was screwed up, so they did a disc replacement program for it, which eventually I did get, which is the main reason I opened it. And now I'm going to drop it all right in front of your faces, as you can see here. This one actually has a bigger hard case book with it, which is cool. It's a cool backside. You might as well look at it since it fell apart. And 3, 2, 1, there it goes. I'm glad I'm standing on top of my nice, big, fluffy leather chair. On to David Lynch's Dune. I also did an unboxing of this one. If you'd like to see a more in-depth look at it, you got the 60-page booklet poster and 4K case there. I love the artwork on this one. It's gorgeous. I'm hoping to do a original versus remake episode for this and the new Dune, but I think I might wait until the new one comes out on 4K so I can rewatch it. On to Flash Gordon. I think this is the first 4K they ever released. If it's not, it's at least the first one I bought. Still haven't watched it, as you can see. I've seen the movie. It's hilarious and awesome. But this transfer is so good, they actually had to go back and fix the visual effects because they looked so bad. Which is, fun fact for you. This movie's great, though. In an alternate timeline somewhere, George Lucas made it. Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes Too. I've never seen this one. I only really bought it to be a completionist, and I have the original one as well on the standard format. I've heard nothing but bad things, but at some point, maybe I'll do a double feature of these. I've seen the first one a couple times. I like that one, but I've heard basically nothing but garbage for this one. And onto a substantially better Wes Craven film, The Last House on the Left. I actually love this movie. That's the alternate artwork on the spine there. That's why it doesn't really match the rest of the case. This one comes with a soundtrack too, which is pretty badass. I was lucky and I got this one just before it went out of print. And now it's impossible to find for anything less than $50 or more. Ridley Scott's Legend. This is another recent release that I did a video on as well. I believe it was on the Cat O' Nine Tails video. But yeah, this is a fantastic release. It's not a 4K, which is the only bad thing, but that was for rights issues, and they really couldn't make a useful 4K transfer of it because the film elements that they would need to do it weren't really available. On to my most recent pickup, The Phantom of the Mall. This is also a standard Blu-ray, but this is the best release this movie has had ever, and bar none. This one didn't have a J card, which I thought was cool because the back of it looks just like a VHS case with the descriptions, reviews for the movie, and the images from the film as well. If you'd like a more in-depth look, I did an unboxing video for this one as well. This came out, I want to say, 2 weeks ago now. On to one of my childhood favorites, Robocop. I've been watching this movie since I was 5 years old, and that's why I'm weird. That's what I always tell everybody. But yeah, Arrow hooked me in with this one just after the American Werewolf in London release, and that's when I was addicted to these limited edition releases. It's got the poster and the booklet as well, the director's and theatrical cut of the film, The director's cut is essentially the same length. It's just substantially gorier. They only had to trim seconds out of the movie to make it rated R, but they are some nasty seconds, that's for true. Another childhood favorite of mine, Tremors. I used to rent this all the time from the video store. I remember being so excited when Tremors 2 came out. My buddy and I had to go to the Mr. Movies and rent it day of, even though it was direct-to-video. But that Tremors 2 poster hanging at the video store was the coolest damn thing ever. But yeah, this is an amazing set. The movie looks fantastic. And yeah, it's just one of the better creature features from the last 30 plus years. On to my standard editions, Alice Sweet Alice, starring the very young Brooke Shields. This is the only one that has a slipcover. It's kind of surprising even to me. That's the problem with getting into these boutique labels after they've already become popular. As you'll notice, most of these aren't open yet because I saw a lot of them via Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, and that made me want to purchase these from Arrow when they were on sale. This is Basket Case, one I still need to watch. And then another film from the same director, Brain Damage. This one is one I saw on Last Drive-In. This movie was pretty fantastic. I actually liked it quite a bit. It's like a drug addiction horror film, and there's some really awkward and hilarious penile-related practical effect monsters in it. On to Creep Show 2. This one is no Creep Show 1, that's for sure. I love the artwork, though. The creeper looks fantastic on it. Played by Tom Savini in the introduction to this one. Like I said, I wouldn't compare this to Creep Show 1, but the one good thing about it is that it's not quite as long because there's only 3 stories as opposed to 5, so if you only got 90 minutes to watch a Creep Show movie, this is the one for you. Onto the Dario Argento movie I have seen, Deep Red. This movie is fantastic. They just released a limited edition 4K of this, which I probably won't get just because I finally bought this and haven't even opened it yet. This one is a complete blind buy for me. Edge of the Axe. I basically bought it solely on the fact that this case looked amazing. And I need another slasher in my collection that I haven't seen, so I figured I'd pick this one up. On to an all-time classic here, Clive Barker's Hellraiser. I never grew up with this one, but I actually appreciate it quite a bit. I've watched it a couple of times. I really wish I had known about Arrow early enough to have gotten the trilogy box set they made that's out of print, because that thing looks awesome. But I am lucky enough to at least have the sequel, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, which I still haven't watched, sadly. It's another episode of Joe Bob's Last Drive-In that I haven't watched because I kind of wanted to watch my Arrow version first since I had paid for it. And like Deep Red, speaking of Arrow releases that just got new 4K releases, here's the Hills Have Eyes Standard Edition. I was just too late to the party to get the limited edition version of this. I thought about selling this to buy the 4K version, but I just can't get my money's worth out of it, so I'll keep this version and be happy with it for now. Very good movie, though. On to one of my all-time favorites, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think this one's out of print now since I bought it. This is the alternate artwork. I watched this with my then 3-year-old son recently, and he was in love with it. He sings the theme song all the time and plays with his Spirit Halloween Killer Clowns merchandise. Another classic, Reanimator. I've watched this a few times, but as you can see, I still haven't popped this open. I love the artwork on the brain there. It looks fantastic. There's a limited edition of this that's out of print as well. I haven't seen any of the sequels, though, so I'll have to pick up Bride of Reanimator from Arrow soon enough. And now on to one I wish I had the limited edition of, Society. This movie is so awesome. I cannot convince my wife to watch it with me. I've seen it a couple times. There is a steelbook version of it as well that looks really cool. But yeah, this movie has some of the best practical effects you'll ever see in your life for the late 80s. Screaming Mad George did an amazing job, and everyone needs a good shunting once in a while. This is another one of my favorite Arrow movies I have, The Stuff by Larry Cohen. Yeah, this is a hilarious satire about American consumerism. Everyone's obsessed with eating the stuff, which is like some evil whipped cream that they don't know where it comes from, and then you find out later it comes from somewhere like in the earth. It's hilarious. Another one with fantastic practical effects. And that's all she wrote. Like I said, I only have a couple dozen titles so far. A few of them I've gotten very recently, like I said. But I hope to get more, especially when they put those limited editions for half off once in a while. That's when I kind of chip away at them as fast as I can before they go out of print and then triple or quadruple in price overnight. But thanks for watching. Like I said before, like, share, and subscribe to my channel, please, and follow me on Instagram. at convicted_cinephile. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.